choosing one or two verses to really build that foundation of your classroom on. Don't choose all these areas. Start with one. My students are complaining too much. Well, that is Philippians 2:14, right? Or if students they're not trying that hard on their work, they're turning in papers that they can do better. Well, Colossians 3:23 says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as for the Lord and not for man." And you can take that verse and you can apply it to when they're walking in the hallway, when they're playing at recess, when they're eating lunch, when they're in science or math or social studies. You can then integrate all those into your subjects and into your discipline plans and your classroom management plan.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that power of repetition, you might feel like, well, I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. That's really powerful. That's something that,
Mm-hmm.
you say it once or twice, students may or may not remember it. You say it, repeatedly over a month or two. That's something that's going to stick with students. They're going to remember, Mrs. Reed always said this when I was in her class, they'll remember that. And it also is opportunity to go deeper, right? Sometimes you just pointing to the verse. Sometimes you might have a conversation. You might have a conversation. Why? What is this? Why does God say this? So there's so much you can do with that. And I love that thought that I think when we think biblical integration, a lot of times we go straight to the subject. Okay, I need something that has to do with, the fall of Rome or, solving equations. And yes, I mean we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, but it doesn't have to just be your actual content area. There's so much happening in your class.
Yeah.
All those interactions are ripe with opportunities to bring in scripture and scriptural truths.